Hi, I'm Stefanie Wainwright. I'm a wife, a mom, a business owner, and my life is chaotic all the time. So I created this podcast to help you find the funny, the good, while navigating through the chaos. This is Chaotic Compass Podcast.
Hey guys, it's Stefanie, Chaotic Compass. How's it going? I'm telling you, like, it's a hot mess every time that I'm trying to get this set up and get it going. And I just realized when I was just recording, I've started and stopped this like 4 times now. This last time I wasn't actually recording, so that's fun. So I was literally just talking to myself here. Anywho, it's me, Stefanie. Hi, I'm here. Today's topic is letting it go. Letting it go. I really am struggling with this right now, especially because my husband and I are trying to disappear for a couple of days, and we're trying to let work go for a couple of days, and we both have massive anxiety about that, because we feel like every time that we try to do something, something goes wrong. We can't just let it go. We have this fear, and I'm trying to have a more optimistic, more positive vibe towards it, but I've just got this looming, like this cloud. I feel like it's hanging over my head, and I'm fearful. And so I'm trying to figure out how to work through it. With both of our jobs, you know, I don't know if you know. So my husband and I, we have 2 businesses. One is a charter boat company, a fishing charter boat company, and also a mobile marine repair company. For me, I handle all of the calls, all of the customer relations, all of the money that comes in, the money goes out. I'm handling all of the contracts, all of the background, the invoicing, all of the background stuff. My husband has his captain's license, and so he runs the charter boat sometimes, and then, but mostly he's out there fixing other people's boats, well, and ours as well, because ours keep breaking and there's issues with that, but that's for another day. So for both of us, we're trying to just let it go for a couple of days. So I've passed off the phone for somebody to answer for us and take care of that end of it for the next couple of days. And I've got anxiety. And I'm trying to dive into how to let it go. And so I'm kind of researching. There's some other things in our lives that I'm trying to let it go. I'm going to get into that too. But I'm trying to do some research on some ideas and some tips and tricks. And I'm realizing that all of the blogs and stuff that are out there are very generalized, very open-ended, very non-specific. I mean, I know you can't be specific to everybody's micro problem, but I feel like it's too macro. And so I wanted to kind of dig into where I'm at and the things that I'm trying to let go and how I'm trying to work through that. And hopefully my specifics can help you. So, like I said, I'm trying to let go, like physically let go of the phone, and emotionally and mentally let go of my job for the next couple of days because I need it. My husband and I have not had a day off in, I don't even know when. I think October last year for our anniversary, maybe. I don't even remember if we did anything. So it's been a hot minute. It's June, so do the math. I'm over here working through how to let it go. And for this particular reason, this particular thing, the reason that I'm having a hard time with letting it go, it's Captain Obvious here. It's control. It's a control thing that I've been able to control it. Everything that goes in and goes out of this office is under my control. And I have to physically put it on somebody else, and I'm having a hard time actually letting it go. Because I can't control other people's actions. I can't control that, which is scary. But it's a reality. Like, it's not, I'm being unreasonable that I'm trying to control other people's, ways that they do it. So, it's like I've typed up all of these things. I had like a 4-page thing that I'm passing off, to explain how I do what I do and how I would like it done. And as I'm typing these things up, as I'm going through this, I'm like, God, you were nitpicking this. Can you just back a tick off? Like, And when I'm giving the phone over this morning, I was literally like, I'm saying it out loud. I'm like, it is not rocket science. This is not brain surgery. This is not life and death. And it is what it is. And I'm here if there's anything that's been needed, and I'm trying to just do this in baby steps, because if I don't do this in baby steps now, I'm not going to be able to take the week off with my family in August, and that my family is going to need me to show up for them and not for the boat. So I'm trying to do these baby steps now so I can be prepared in August. So, number 1, control freak. Okay, I'm a control freak. I have a hard time with that. My anxiety centers around a lot of control things. It might stem from a little bit of childhood trauma with the control thing. My mom tried to control me and very overbearing, overpower. It was a power struggle. So I think that stems a lot from that. And so I try to have control over every aspect of my life. And I think this is a tiff that my husband and I sometimes get into. It's like the job got done. It didn't go exactly like I would have done it, but it got done, right? And I have to let it go. And so here's all the tools, here's all the information. If you have any questions, you can always call me, but it either gets done or it doesn't get done, right? I can't make it. I can't will it. I can't force it to happen. I've given all the tools and the ability to, but if it doesn't get done, then that's another conversation for another time, but I have to think positively. And that's step number 2. I mean, these aren't really steps. You don't have to do these in this order. But number 2 is I have to be positive here. I can't be doom and gloom. This cloud, this anxiety cloud that's hanging over me, I need to look at the positive here. I need to focus on the positive. I'm getting ready to have a couple of days with my husband. We're just going to not for a few days, and I have to focus on that. Because if I don't focus on that, then I'm going to start thinking about all of the possibilities of the things that go wrong. Y'all, raise your hand. I know you're driving in your car, so just do it with the one hand, not give me a, praise the Jesus, 2 hands. Give me a one-hander up in the air if you are the ones that you have a hard time with not thinking about the other shoe's going to fall, right? Please raise your hand. Do you have a hard time with what's looming around the corner, right? Because we've all seen this in the movies, in our shows. Like, I'm watching Shameless right now. I'm totally behind. And every time something starts going good, something horribly tragic sneaks in and catches the main characters way off guard. And I feel like that is life. But is that really life? No. No, it's not. It's a freaking dramatic cinema idea that's been planted in my head that something bad is around the corner. And so therefore, I have massive anxiety about made up shit. What the fuck? What is that about? Like, can you relate? Raise your hand if you can relate that your brain makes up some crazy ass shit. Oop, me. That's me. What is that all about? Like, come on, brain. Like, we got to work together to get through this life. I am me, you are we. Like, we are together here. I don't even know the words, but we are one and the same. So why are we still in this fight or flight, caveman fucking shit here? Like, let's calm it down. A saber-toothed tiger isn't going to pop out of nowhere. We're fine. Okay? We're fine. That's not even a thing anymore. Okay? We can't keep going through life being afraid of what's around the corner. It might be a field of freaking tulips and daisies around the corner. You never know. So it could be perfectly fine. So trying to figure out how to spin it. If my brain can think of all the negative and shitty ass things that could potentially happen, why can't we spin it and think about all of the positive, awesome things that can happen? That might be cocky and, looked at in a very different light, but I'd rather not be doom and gloom with the cloud hanging over my head like freaking Eeyore. Okay, I've got to be a little bit positive here and work through some of this shit, because I'm just going to be afraid to move, and I can't with the anxiety. Letting it go. Number 3, only worry about what you think. You can't worry about what other people think, because you're going to go on forever. Be like, well, did they think about, were they thinking about how they hated me, or how I fucked up, or I didn't say hi the right way, or, or they hate my outfit? Or you cannot go through the things in life worrying about all the things that other people think. You got to just worry about what's in your brain. And so this goes back to number 2. You got to think positive things. So I can only worry about what I think. Okay. And then this is another subject. For the longest time, I had a massive misconception of my own self. And it was really hard for me to get past the daily mantras, the negative mantras that I had in my head, that I'm not good enough. I've got, going through 2 failed marriages. I'm on my 2nd divorce. I've got 2 kids from 2 different dads. I am not going to ever be good enough for anybody, and I don't know why anybody would ever want me. I'm pretty much damaged goods, and I might as well just accept that and just move on with my life. I'm not lovable. I'm not worth being loved, and I've got all this negative shit that's toiling around my head in 2014 into 2015. And so I'm painting a picture. That's 2014, 2015 Stefanie. Today or yesterday, I came across, when I was trying to Google and research for this podcast episode, I had come across this quote. I came across this quote from this person. The more we know ourselves, the more we like ourselves. And that can be taken in, if you start picking apart, like the more you get to know yourself, the more you might not like yourself. But this is typically supposed to be on a positive note. The more we start peeling back the layers, because we're put into this world and we have these societal norms that we feel like we're expected to adhere to. And then so we get all of these false beliefs that kind of encompass us. And so the more that we peel back and figure out, who am I? Or is this really me? Or is this just something that my grandmother implemented in me? And or is this like from my mama or my daddy or my uncle or, my family member or my friends? Is this really me? Or is this just something that I put on the outside just to make somebody like me or whatever, So the more you start figuring out who I really am, the more you either like yourself or not. The more I was really, really listening to the voices in my head. I'm not schizophrenic. I'm talking about like the figurative voices in my head, about what I thought other people were thinking about me. Think about like that sentence right there is so freaking toxic. And that was me. I was thinking more about what other people were thinking about me and believing it as truth, as fact. Nobody ever said this shit to me. I was coming up with this shit in my head. I did get out of a toxic relationship, and there was still some lingering shit about how I wouldn't be good enough. And so some of those things were implanted to me, but most of these things were me coming up with this shit in my head. I was worrying about all the things that other people were thinking about me. And all of those things I thought about myself were all made up. How I wasn't lovable, that, that I was going to be, I got the scarlet letter on me as far as I've had 2 failed marriages, that I'm not good at marriage. I still struggle to believe that I'm good at marriage, but I'm working through it, right? That I'm not lovable. I'm not worthy of being loved. All of these things surrounding me separating and eventually divorcing my second husband. They're all made up. Crazy. And so I was so focused on what other people were thinking instead of focusing on what I thought about myself. Like, what do I really think about myself? And the more I sat with it, I started to, it took me a while, but I was like, wow, I have survived a pretty toxic relationship that was emotionally and mentally draining and self-sabotaging. Like, I had a hard time getting out of that mindset. I survived. I have two beautiful children that I have raised and, I'm on my own with. That was then, not now, but I am fiercely loyal. I am very passionate about the things that I love, being my kids, my family, my friends, if I'm really passionate about my work, I'm passionate about these things. And so I'm a very passionate person, and I'm coming through, instead of thinking like, oh, you're not lovable. I'm like, oh shit, I am totally worthy of somebody loving me because all of these positive things. And so I had to let go of other people's opinions. I had to let go of what other people might or might not be thinking. I'm not a mind reader, and so I've got to stop focusing in on other people's potential thoughts. That is such a waste of time. Think about that for a second. That's a waste of time to try to think about what other people are thinking. Straight up just ask them, hey man, this was kind of weird the other day, and I was just wondering, what was going on here, and just have a conversation about it. Or if you don't want to dive into it, let it go. Shut up about it. Move on. Either way, you gotta stop. You gotta stop thinking about all the things that other people may or may not be thinking. This now leads me into the last, I kind of hit on this just a second ago, but this leads me into the last thing. Mindset. Kind of hit on these already. You're optimistic. You need to be less pessimistic. You have to have a positive mindset. But really, it's about your limiting beliefs here. Do we know what a limiting belief is? There's an episode, I just listened to it. Oh, Rachel Hollis. I think it was just recently, in the early 400s. I can't think of the number, but she talks about limiting beliefs and what the difference is between a limiting belief and an empowering belief. Limiting beliefs are something that actually limits you from doing something, right? For instance, she gives this instance of, I am not a runner. I'm not a runner. I don't want to run. I don't want to run, right? If you see me running, there's a problem. You should probably run too. But she kept saying over and over and over, I'm not a runner. I'm not built for that. My body structure is not built like that. She had this mindset of, I'm not a runner. But instead of going out there and just doing and trying your best, instead of just plundering through and figuring it out, she just instantly was like, I am not a runner. And so my limiting belief with 2014, 2015 Stefanie is, I'm not lovable. I'm not lovable. Who would love me? How am I even lovable? I have a lot of love to give, but will actually somebody love me for me? And who am I? I am a divorcee. I have 2 kids from 2 different dads. And then go down all of these. I am limiting the belief of that I'm not lovable. In 2023, Stefanie's like, girl, you are lovable. You are like a cuddly fucking teddy bear. You are so lovable. Here's all the things that you are lovable and why. Here's all of the reasons why you are lovable. Here it is. Let's lay it out. Boom, 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 boom. What in the world, Steph? Why would you ever think? And that was because I was in a negative mindset and I have all of these negative beliefs, these limiting beliefs. I had all of these limiting beliefs. And it comes down to every time you say, oh, I could never do that. Well, do you want to? I mean, if you want to, then let's figure it out. If you don't want to, like, I don't ever want to be a runner. I don't want to be that person, right? I don't want to be a chef. I I don't enjoy cooking. These are the things that I don't want to be. But if I have a limiting belief of I am never going to be a roller derby girl, but my secret passion is I want to take out my frustrations and beat the shit out of somebody on rollerblades, It's like, okay, well, let's figure that out. That's an odd one, but we could figure this out. Let's dive into. Maybe you should get some practice on some rollerblades first before you start going out there and trying to beat the shit out of each other, and then maybe you should start figuring out how to work out your upper body because, the wiggly, squiggly, sad tricep, bicep that you've got going on isn't going to do shit. So, these are the things you should probably work on first before you just slap on some rollerblades and hope for the best, because it's not going to go well. But I know this about myself. If that's something, it really isn't a passion of mine. And so don't, my husband, I promise you, Ryan, it's not a passion of mine. I don't want to be a roller derby girl. But you have to stop saying, I can never do that, and start thinking of, well, I can't do that now. What would it take me to get to that place? I've had there's this big goal that my husband and I are working on. And I keep thinking, I talked about this a couple episodes ago. I want this goal so bad, but I know mentally and emotionally who I am right now. I don't have that ability to have that mindset to be that person. Doesn't matter. It's not that I can't be that person. I'm just not there yet. Keyword, right? If you just add a yet onto so many things, think about where you could be, right? Be like, I'm not a master chef yet. I'm not a race car driver yet. I'm not a millionaire yet. Just add the word yet, and then just look at how you differently, you're looking at the perception of how you're looking at these things is completely different, or at least it is for me. So let's go back over. We got the control freak thing. I got to let that go. I can only worry about me and my brain. I've got to stop worrying what's about around the corner. I can't keep worrying about all of the other things that everybody else is potentially thinking or worrying about. I can only do me. It's a control thing. Again, limiting beliefs. We got to let that shit go. We need to find some empowering beliefs. And the big thing is you got to like yourself. And if you don't like yourself, you're going to have a hard time. I'm going to get into this a little bit. You got to like yourself, because if you don't, you're going to nitpick everything and everything around you. If you don't like yourself, you're going to have a hard time letting go that your kid didn't replace the toilet paper roll, or you're going to have a hard time of how loudly your kid walks on the floor. It sounds like an elephant on the hardwood floor. You're going to have a hard time letting go of all of these little petty things. And you have to like yourself, because then you're going to be content with a lot of the things that are going on around you. And if you're not content with yourself, then you can't be content with the world. I'm not like, there is a lot of shit in the world. I'm talking about your world, like your tiny micro world in the big world. I'm not talking about all the shit that's going on. You have to be able to be okay with who you are in order to be able to let go of the past and to be able to focus on the future. That's deep. That's deep, guys. You have to be okay with your present. It's a present right here. It's a gift. Right now is a gift. And you can't be blessed with your potential future if you're anchored down by your past. So I'm going to leave you with that. I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks, guys. Have a great day, week, month, year, little friends thing. Have a great night, guys. Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate all of your love and support. If you really loved today's episode, you should subscribe. And if you subscribe, then you get notifications of when my next episode launches. So another way to be super awesome would be to leave a rating and review or recommend it to your friends and family. If you're wicked awesome, you've already done all three. Another way to keep up with me and my crazy family is check out my website at chaoticcompass.com, and I do blog and other stuff there. So I appreciate everything for you guys. I do this for you, so keep it up, because the more you subscribe, the more I do.